Simply put, mathematics is considered as a language because it satisfies the qualifications set forth by linguists, which are vocabulary, grammar, meaning, syntax, narrative, and a set of people understanding the language. To be frank, one cannot say that mathematics is not a language because even the simplest things in our life, like the date and time, is expressed in numbers, which is basically the mathematical alphabet.
There are patterns in mathematics because what may seem chaotic in nature can actually be explained by huge, complex structures. The structure develops patterns, and mathematics is what helps us define these structures.
We all know that in every problem, in every real-life problem, there is always an underlying mechanism, or should I say, a systematic process behind it. And in each of these technicalities, there by default is mathematics embedded in it. Now, I think once we understand that mathematical presence, we would know that everything is solvable with its principles. I mean, just like what have been discussed in class, for example, transportation. So transportation is math solvable because it involves moving through distances and relatively amounts of money. For us students, especially in group works, we find this very crucial. And now if we would consider, for example, the Hungarian method in our future collaborative tasks, I think we would then be able to reasonably identify each of our unique strengths and weaknesses, which would technically help us devise that particular setup that is time efficient and that which caters the comfortability of each member while doing the work. As for graph theory, or particularly the Dijkstra algorithm, I think it covers more than just problems involving physical distances or like literally roads and highways.
Mathematics, whether we like it or not, is an important tool in our day-to-day life, day-to-day problem solving also.
I think we should learn the basics of investing because banks and savings grows at such a slower rate. Just keep up with the inflation, I think, in the longer run.
Without mathematics, a decision would not make any sense. I mean, math itself is the factor that determines or proves the credibility of a choice. You choose something because you understand that your choice is mathematically favorable. You make a choice because you know that according to the rules of math, this is what would suit you best, or that is what would suit you best.
In dealing with social problems, the solutions that one should think of should not only be beneficial for a select few, but to the greater population as well. Of course, without compromising fairness when reaching that specific conclusion or answer to a social problem.
Game theory puts real-life situations where people's actions are interdependent in the context of a game, in which you can predict the actions of the other party because you assign numerical values to the consequences.
In such an era, it is nearly impossible to survive without technology. I mean, personal belongings and stuff, they're all dependent to it. And we are certain that these gadgets are crafted, manufactured, and programmed with the use of math. And of course, without math, these would not exist. And we people could have stayed in the time of cavemen if not for the coexistence of mathematics with people.
Given that chemical engineering pertains to the field of engineering where chemical operations and productions are made more efficient, the lessons regarding efficiency and shortest path would definitely be helpful when we are trying to determine the most efficient option and reduce costs.
There's way too much stuff with mathematics. Not that it's bad, it just proves that mathematics is everywhere.
Number 1, mind-blowing. Since the first discussion, I was already overwhelmed with the lesson because it talked about a case scenario. And it was kind of different from my expectations because I thought it would be plainly solving, graphing, and arithmetic stuff. But it's actually not. Second, it was predominantly analytical. Like in the most literal sense, all of the computations here required analysis of the given problem, and in order to solve them right, you have to picture the problems as if they were moving. And finally, I think the whole course itself is just personality developing. And we were just taught how to deal with them, so I guess this is how adulting feels. I feel privileged, but